Media personality, host of the nationally syndicated Breakfast Club, mental health advocate, and best-selling author Charlamagne Tha God has become synonymous with telling it like it is. His new book, Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks, draws on lessons from his past to show how we can embrace more authentic conversations and cultivate a culture of genuine connection and understanding. And joining us now is Charlamagne Tha God himself. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Lindsay. How are you?
I cannot complain. Yeah. Let's hold up the book.
Emotion.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got the book right here as well. So I was interested. You talk about growing up in South Carolina, being with your grandmother, your aunt, and that you always felt like you were going to have this platform.
Yeah.
Early on, you knew you were destined for something. Where did that come from?
That's a great question. I don't know. Is this one of those things where you just feel like, you were destined to have something important to say? Like, I would stand in my grandmother's yard and, there was like a field that was in between her house and my cousin Gloria's house. And I would just be standing at the edge of that field, just acting like I'm talking to these large crowd. And I just always felt like I was supposed to be on some type of stage delivering, some type of message.
You spoke it into the universe.
Yeah.
All right, so you write here, I firmly believe that before you can have truly transformative conversation with other folks, you have to start by having hard, unflinching conversations with a very special person first, yourself. And you go on to say, hey, you don't mean talking in the mirror and having conversations. What do you mean about having thoughtful conversation with yourself?
Well, that's actually the reason I named the book Get Honest or Die Lying. Of course, I'm paying homage to the 50 Cent's classic hip-hop album, Get Rich or Die Trying. But earlier this year, I went away on a spiritual retreat. And one of the things that came up for me was stop lying to yourself and stop volunteering those lies to other people. And I think that's something that we all do, just because in this world that we're in right now with social media and everything else, people, create these personalities and these personas, and you walk around, with a mask on, and it's easy to, be honest with other people. You can tell other people what's wrong with them and, what they're doing that you don't like, but it's very hard to look in that mirror and have those same conversations with yourself. But I truly believe that when you can look in that mirror and, stop lying to yourself, you'll just stop volunteering lies to the world because you don't have any need to.
At one point you say small talk is killing us as a society.
Yeah.
How so?
Because we don't even know how to discuss large things. Like, you can get on Twitter right now, and I guarantee you it's some complete foolishness trending. Like, we make these very small, micro things so macro and so big, and then when the big situations actually come across our desk, or the big topics come across our desk, we either don't talk about them at all or don't know how to talk about them because we put everything on the same scale.
A number of times you talk about one thing you're not going to do is beat around the bush. You talk about encouraging people to just get to the point.
That's right.
Right? And here with this conversation about politics, obviously there's been a lot about people wanting you to endorse Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You've said that you're not going to endorse them. At the same time, you said Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. But sometimes people confuse that with your decision to not endorse, suggesting you're not going to vote.
Which I think is ridiculous. I'm just one of the 1 in 4 Americans who has unfavorable views about both candidates. And I think that, we do ourselves a favor if we stop talking about individuals and start talking about issues. Like, right now with this election, when you have two candidates who, people really aren't big on, instead of talking about them as individuals, man, we should start laying the issues on the table and, start talking about things like, the threat to democracy that I believe, Donald Trump to be, right? I think we should start pushing things like, Project 2025 and just telling people, hey, man, you should take a look at this. We should, constantly remind people of the fact that he said he wanted to terminate, the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. We should constantly remind people about, January 6th, 2021. And I think that once you put that stuff on the table, you should look at the whole landscape. We need to start looking at all parties that are running. We should start looking at third parties as well, and I'm shocked that a third-party candidate hasn't been able to rise since 2016, because people have been complaining about the choices since 2016. They didn't like, Hillary Clinton, they didn't like Joe Biden, they don't like Trump. I'm shocked that a third-party candidate hasn't been able to rise over the last few years.
Charlamagne Tha God, we so appreciate you coming by. I want to let our viewers know you can buy Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks, now available wherever books are sold. Charlamagne, thank you.
Thank you, Linsey.